This is Regis Program, and you're tuning into True School Sports.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to make a follow-up video to what I truthfully believe, and nobody can convince me otherwise. At this moment in time, at this juncture in time, at October 31st, 2022, at the time I'm shooting this video, I truthfully believe that the robbery of the year, the biggest, most egregious, just the biggest atrocity of a robbery I've seen this year in boxing was Max Ornelas versus Hector Valdez. Now, for those that know, and for those that don't know, I talked about this in my last video with Lomachenko and Jermaine Ortiz, but nobody really, I talked about it towards the end, so maybe people didn't hear it the first time. But this deserved its own video, so I'm talking about it again, because that's how bad of a robbery it was. You had a fight this past weekend on Golden Boy between two undefeated prospects, Hector Valdez, who was signed to Golden Boy, Max Ornelas, who is undefeated as well, but he was the B-side in this case. Now, why is this the worst robbery of 2022? I'm gonna explain it to you guys, and I'm gonna be very precise with how I present this information and break things down for you guys. Now, we've had a lot of bad robberies in boxing. I mean, here on Truth, like just on my time covering YouTube, I can think back as far as like Kovalev Award 1, bad robbery. Canelo Golovkin 1, bad robbery. What are some other ones? John Ryder, Callum Smith. Those are just a couple that come to mind when I think of some of the really just bad horribly scored fights. Tyson Fury, Wilder 1. But the thing is, with those robberies and with a lot of the robberies that boxing fans focus on, those guys that get robbed, they've already made it to a certain level, and they made good money that fight, that they can, even though they got robbed, they can still, they made a good living for themselves with that fight, with that payday. And they're still going to get other opportunities, other calls for fights. Now, this type of a robbery, these are the worst ones, because you had Max Ornelas, who clearly beat Hector Valdez. I mean, he boxed the shit out of him. Hector Valdez looked like the limited fighter that I had seen him be in other fights that I'd watched him in. Max exploited all of his weaknesses. You'd be very generous to give Hector Valdez 3 rounds. Let alone win the fight. Just truth be told, he's got a lot of work to do. And not like Max Ornelas, he wasn't fighting for a world title. He wasn't fighting for big money. But what he was fighting for in the sport at this moment in time was credibility, legitimacy, and the chance to make your dreams come true. He was fighting for the chance to be signed to Golden Boy Promotions, because if he would have won the fight, Golden Boy Promotions would have signed him. They would have given him the opportunity to, be all he could be in the sport. But instead of doing what's right, fair, and just, you got blind, corrupt establishment judges like Raul Caiz Sr. and the despicable atrocity known as Alejandro Rochin give Hector Valdez 97, 93 scorecards. It's absolutely ridiculous. So to me, this is my homework assignment to everybody who watches my channel. If you come across this video on my channel, your homework assignment, if you haven't done so already, is to, if you have a DAZN account, go on to the Jojo Diaz, William Zepeda Fight Night replay, and it should be the very first fight, Max Ornelas versus Jojo Diaz, or Max Ornelas versus Hector Valdez, I should say. Go watch that fight, and you tell me that you tell me that Hector Valdez won that fight, and you tell me that Hector Valdez was even competitive in that fight, because I just don't see where you can give the guy 3 rounds or 4 rounds even. I can't see it. I know a lot of times, like the Jermaine Ortiz fight, Lomachenko, that was a close fight. I thought Jermaine won. I knew he wasn't going to get it, but I thought Jermaine won. Could have been a draw. Wouldn't be mad at Lomachenko 115, 113. But this right here was an atrocity. This is just one of the worst robberies I can remember in a long time, because of the fact that it's not just so much the fact that Max Ornelas lost the fight. No, it's more than that. It's the fact that he's not going to get, he didn't get the chance in this case, to get signed to a big promoter. Because at the end of the day, when you're a fighter who's 15-0, and you've been winning these fights, and you've been pounding the pavement, and you sparred some of the best fighters in the world, like Angelo Leo and Nonito Donaire and Miguel Burchell and these kind of guys. The goal ultimately is to get signed, because once you get signed, then you can, as a fighter, be in a power position to, get good paydays, be in important fights, get the exposure, raise your profile so that the public and the boxing fans know who you are, and he's not going to get that chance. And so because of that, because of what they took away from him in a fight that he didn't win by the hairs of his chinny chin. He didn't just barely win the fight. He won it was a boxing clinic. It was a boxing clinic. And this is not a good thing, because now what it does on the other side, and this is not to throw salt or hate on Hector Valdez, because I don't know him. I don't have a vendetta against him. We actually have a couple mutual friends, believe it or not. I'm not going to say who they are, but I know we have a couple mutual friends. Hector Valdez has a lot of work to do as a fighter, and now because you gave him a gift decision, now he thinks he won the fight, and this may lead him to feel like he doesn't have to work on anything, and you're encouraging lackluster performances. You have enabled the A-side house fighter with the lackluster performance against a fighter, Max Ornelas, who clearly boxed his ears off. It was an easy fight for him. I'm sure he's had a harder time walking to his refrigerator than he did fighting Hector Valdez. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just the truth. It was an easy fight for him. It wasn't competitive. So, yeah, to me, I'm sure there will be some controversial fights in main events and things like that. But for my money, and I watch boxing at all levels. I follow amateur boxing. I like to watch. My favorite thing to do with boxing is watch the prospects. I'm really into fighter development, so I like watching prospects. So I watch a lot of cards. Maybe boxing fans may skip over. Those Thursday night cards, the Wednesday night cards. The random cards. I watch those cards. Those are my favorite cards. This, to me, out of all the fights I've watched this year, and I've watched countless amounts of boxing this year, I'm up to my eyeballs in boxing every week here on True School Sports. This is by far the worst robbery of 2022. And truth be told, I don't have to wait another 60 days to tell you guys this. This is the 2022 robbery of the year. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Max Ornelas robbed against Hector Valdez. If you haven't watched the fight, I would encourage everybody to go watch it, because I scored the fight when I watched it 8-2 for Max Ornelas. So pretty wide. 7-3 is acceptable, but that's the minimum. I mean, it wasn't 6-4. It wasn't a draw, and it damn sure wasn't no win for Hector Valdez. But let blind motherfuckers like Raul Caiz Sr. and Alejandro Rochin tell you differently. And here we are, another day in boxing politics as usual. So yeah, Max Ornelas, his father Tony Ornelas, and just keep your head up, guys. God has a plan. The cream always rises to the top. You guys are fantastic at what you do. Continue to fight. Max, you're a really great technical fighter, and I think there's definitely a future for you in the sport. Just keep grinding. Your time is coming. As far as Hector Valdez goes, you got some work to do, brother. You may be undefeated, but those of us who watch know you're not undefeated, and you have a lot of work to do as a pressure fighter to get to where you want to go in the sport. But I'm not hating on you. All the best, and keep grinding. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I don't know if y'all can see the sign, but I'm just a kid from Dania, and that's Dania Beach in South Florida if you don't know. So, till next time, take care, guys.
And I think True School Sports, he's the truth. One of the best the best.
Ooh, the number one.
Number one.
Brandon, you've been there, man, and you're building up a good following with us.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to be a part of what you're doing, too. You are spectacular, and
Thank you, man. All the best to True School Boxing, and keep up the good work.